This is a CC Radio podcast.
Welcome to episode 214 of the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews podcast. You, dear listener, would be well advised to prepare for some talk of poo this week. My name is Wayne. I know, I wish and don't wish that I was joking.
My name is Paul. Welcome to the podcast. We count down movies and sometimes television. In order of awesomeness. So you don't have to. And Wayne is alluding to the fact this week's topic is completely and utterly his jam.
I don't know that it is or
the
it's
top
where it's
10 gross-out comedies.
It's more my jam than yours, for sure. But that is because I enjoy base humor and I'm not especially intelligent.
Well, one half of that is true. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about some pretty disgusting shit, I think it's fair to say, before the end of this.
Shit gonna get real.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how we made our list, because I think there's going to be some conjecture about what
Dude, there's
qualifies.
going to be tons. There's going to be tons, and I don't even know how this is going to go.
This is going to be a disaster of epic proportions.
It is, because as we all know...
Which will hopefully be entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll
be great.
We get right into that very shortly, but before then, let's do our plug, Wayne.
The Podcast Republic app.
That is right. A robust
And good ass
app for your Android device
that
you can listen to this show and indeed all other podcasts on. So if you're not yet giving it a bash, please do so.
Give it a try, y'all.
The Podcast Republic app. Wayne, we had a new patron this week as well.
Oh, yes.
Well, a big shout out to Chris O'Neill, who in San Francisco, he's a Kiwi in San Francisco.
Oh, damn, that's
who's
some
joined
Englishman
up
in
one
New
of
York
the
shit.
high levels of our patrons. So if you're at all interested in hearing a whole bunch of extra content, which has built up over the last 15 or 16 months, you can become a patron of the show. Check out the link for that in the show notes.
C to the O. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
And the rest of you patrons.
Yeah, of course, we have to thank all of our patrons, which are a goodly number. We really do appreciate everything that you've done for the show, allowing us to do a bit more and reach out in different ways, which we are.
We buy microphones and we buy mixing decks and we buy shit to make it better.
Yeah, and it allows us to do things like this.
Eat my ass! Eat all the asses, man! To be fair, you can eat my ass for free. What?
That's what the top level of patron does for you.
Hey, where's it all? Where's it going so rapidly down?
Just preparing for later on in the episode. All right, every week Wayne and I compare our list, well, almost every week compare our lists, and this week's results are in. Wayne has been flogging me of late. Absolutely giving me a hiding. He's won the last 3 weeks in a row to take the overall tally for the year to 6-all. Well, thank God.
Until now.
I finally managed to get back on track this week.
Spectacularly so.
The top 10 best or most heroic movie moments. Wayne got 11 votes. I had 60.
Oh my God, that's huge.
It is the biggest margin in the history of the show. So thank you to everyone out there. And I'm pretty sure you shot yourself bang on in the foot when you wanted to celebrate the vault scene from Volcano.
I don't understand. I mean,
I believe you said, I regret nothing.
I do regret nothing because I'm totally still on board with that. Everyone, Paul had a movie where one guy stood up to 11 other guys in a hot room when everyone wanted to go to lunch.
Yeah.
That was his heroic film, right? My guy couldn't stand up because he was standing in lava. Okay? You know how hot his room was? Lava, bitch! There was lava in his room. So you know what? I'm fine with my choices. I'm sorry they didn't resonate, but I'm still fine with it.
So that takes me back equal, I should say, because it was 5-6. You were winning, so now it's 6-all, I should say.
You happy now, bitch? You happy now?
Well, I'm happy to have stopped the rot. You're only as good as your last vote? I don't know. No, probably not. This week, I'm in all kinds of trouble.
No, you're not. Because people like it when it's not your wheelhouse. So I think you do fine again this week. But we shall see.
And the last check-in before we get into the episode this week proper is, of course, the movie watching challenge between Dan from the IMDb Journey podcast and my good self, as well as a whole bunch of the listeners are involved as well. We're going to get numbers for them in the next couple of weeks and report back at that point. Well, this is a battle to see.
You still don't throw to that properly. And I know you're doing it on purpose now, you fuck.
All right, so I finally got around to at least logging. I haven't written all my reviews yet. But, Dan is on 213 films for the year so far. Remembering that we were aiming for 365.
What's wrong with you fucking assholes?
I am on 239.
Oh, Jesus Christ! There aren't even that many movies.
There is if you're watching IMDb,
know.
IMDb Top 250, which I have worked through most of now, and boy, I've seen some absolutely terrible films.
Really? In the
And I've seen some amazing films too.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Anyway, so there it is. I'm leading, not by a lot, but by enough that I'm feeling at least like I'm giving Dan a run for his money because he was very cocky coming into this year. And thus far, I'm holding my own.
You're both fucking insane.
All right, that's enough of the check-ins and all the bits and pieces. Let's get into the countdown proper on the other side of this promo. The last one for our good friends at the Epic Film Guys
EFG.
and their live stream for a cure event.
Justin, can you believe it's almost time?
Time for what?
The 2019 live stream for The Cure. This is our 3rd year hosting this amazing event with every single cent going toward cancer research.
The Cancer Research Institute funds research into immunotherapy to create a future immune to all forms of cancer.
And this amazing nonprofit organization is rated over 92% by charitynavigator.org and puts 88 cents of every dollar toward cancer research.
Last year, thanks to an amazing team of collaborators, fans, supporters, and listeners, we raised over $5,000 in 30 hours on the air.
And this year, with your help, we're going for our biggest goal yet.
Tune in May 17th to the 19th on twitch.tv/epicfilmguys for 40 hours of amazing content as we try to reach $7,500.
And for more information or to find out how you can become a part of the event, please visit www.livestreamforthecure.com. Together, we can make a difference.
So give generously to the Epic Film Guys. If you've got a little bit of extra
Totes.
cash lying
Worthy
around,
stuff.
we'll certainly be doing the same. Okay, then. Enough of the serious stuff. Back into the poor
Pee
taste.
and vom jokes.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of that shit going around. Now, Wayne, we didn't discuss this at all. And I was tempted to message you during the week and say, all right, so how are we ordering this? What's the way we're doing this?
Yeah.
And I thought, no, it'll be funnier if we just make it up as we go along.
Well, this is what I thought, okay? Because here's the thing. I think David Powell actually, or someone in the community actually
Facebook
pointed
community,
this out.
link in the show
He
notes.
said the truth is there aren't that many good gross
He's
out
100% right.
He is 100% right.
This was
So-
a really hard list to make.
Right, and also what constitutes a gross out comedy? Does the whole movie have to be gross? Does it have to be
We
one
should have done
gross scene?
top 10 gross out scenes. Then this list would have been fine.
Yeah, this would have been clean, all right? So, but this makes it a little more interesting because what you've got in here, in my list anyway, is movies you would be like, what, really? But and then it's got a gross out scene in it, technically. But, you know, I don't know. It's
I had to stretch to that. So
No.
mine became a...
if it's a good comedy and you can pick a gross out scene in it that was good, basically one of the reasons it was good, or even just it was good, right? Then I guess it goes on the list.
Well, I did do that, but I tried to make the film... One's high on my list, I think, are genuinely good films.
Yep.
And have, hopefully,
Grosser-
multiple
Yeah.
gross out
Yeah,
moments.
there's a higher gross quotient.
Lower down my list, there may be exactly what you just described. It's
Yeah.
a decent film with a really gross out moment
Yep.
or two, or it's an okay film with a spectacularly gross out moment.
Yeah.
That's the way I played it.
very good.
All right, so we're not that different then.
No, I don't think so. And I just wanted to give you a word about gross out comedies so you know how we're playing this, or at least how I'm playing it, okay? These are a special kind of laugh that you're doing. When you experience a gross out moment in a comedy, all right? You're not laughing, you're squirming, your whole body's there, your face is buried, you're like, Jesus, don't make me look at that again, or don't drink that dude, or ew, too far. All of that is not the same as when you laugh at something witty or pithy or is conceptually
you're right.
funny, or, you know, this is just, it's visceral. And
It's
that's
cringe.
what that's right.
You're
it's cringe.
cringing and you're laughing and you're
But
kind of
you're
going,
laughing.
oh no.
It's a special kind of laugh. You don't come across it every day.
And
so that's
you
what
might
I like about
argue
it.
that this gross out comedy's kind of gone out. It's not in vogue anymore.
What you find is there's a gross moment in a movie, and it's allowed you to go like in a long shot.
Yeah,
review.
which our review is about to drop for that.
Yeah.
So don't give it away.
Yeah, there is a damn gross moment, and
But that's so few and far between. Like,
that's probably a good
if
point.
you go back 20 years ago, where the majority of my list is from,
Yeah.
you'll find a lot more of these kinds of films. It almost feels like Hollywood has moved past it for the time. I'm sure it'll come back around. It'll come back into
certainly hope
vogue. Yeah.
Is
so
it a 90s? I don't know.
it does feel a
like
lot
a
more
90s kind of
80s,
gross
90s.
thing. Yeah, that's what it. 80s is like, yeah, I don't know. But that's what I mean. Like, so the reason I like them, and it's easier to turn your nose up at me, I'm fine with that. Go ahead, judge me. Is that I do
Oh,
think...
we will.
I hope no, it's fine. It's fine. I think there's a visceral quality to this that makes it sort of more base, and that's why I like it. So there you go. And that's
All right.
how I make people laugh too, so there you go.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, that's fair enough. Shall I lead away then today?
Please, you go.
My number 10 then is a film, as mentioned and explained already. It's not really a gross out comedy. Certainly has a gross out moment in it, and a moment that literally stunned me when I saw this in the cinemas on a date. No.
Oh,
less.
fantastic. Oh.
So we're going back a fair ways here to 2007,
Mm.
and it is a Seth Rogen film. It's a
course.
Seth Rogen film where
He's all over this list.
he is chasing someone, or again, who's way out of his league. It's Knocked Up.
Okay, what's the
And there can only be
oh,
one scene.
Oh no, I just remembered it. Ugh.
I am, of
All
course,
right.
talking about the scene where Katherine Heigl gives birth to their child, and we see the baby crowning.
I didn't, because at first I didn't know what it was. It was just like, what? Oh shit!
And from memory, because I've only seen this film once, from memory, they show it at least twice, if not 3 shots separately. And I'm
No,
like,
it's
whoa, you've really
it's
gone
hard.
there, Judd Apatow,
It's hard.
who directed this film.
yeah.
And it was such an the film is largely a pretty sweet romantic comedy.
I'd like that film.
But because it's got Seth Rogen in it, therefore there are some crass bits of humor in it. Nothing compares to this particular
The
moment.
thing is, this moment isn't actually gross out funny. It's just gross out, but it's in a comedy, so it's still valid. Definitely valid.
People lost their shit laughing and doing the whole, oh!
Actually, you're right. Actually, you probably are laughing because you're so fucking offended.
Yes.
yeah. Good point. Yeah. You're right.
And it's, obviously it's a very natural thing, but not to show on a movie screen. It's
I
like a
forgot about this
two-story
one. That's not a
fucking
bad
size screen. Bam, there it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, that thing's already big, eh?
So that's my number 10.
That's a good number 10. It's gonna, like, my number 10 is, like, I've started subtle.
Okay.
It's light on compared to the ones higher on the list. However, this film is a dark horse for me because I always considered it extremely good and very underrated comedy with gross out elements, and they're subtle gross out elements. They're not like someone ate a turd or something. It's like, it's just like icky gross. Like, this is Along Came Polly.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is a movie where it's,
Surprising. All right.
yeah, it's got like Philip Seymour Hoffman in it and stuff like that. It's like,
Jennifer Aniston, Ben Stiller.
Jennifer Aniston, Ben Stiller, and there's some subtle, like, there's your standard sort of bathroom humor where, Ben Stiller has to take a shit back at Jennifer Aniston's house and the thing gets clogged up and that kind of thing happens. But the moment I'm talking about is an oddly disturbing one that I've always remembered.
Okay.
It's where Ben Stiller and Philip Seymour Hoffman are playing basketball in the park. And by the way, Philip Seymour Hoffman does stuff like this. He goes, "Make it rain!" every time he shoots the fucking ball, and it just misses. It's really good. But they have this 2-on-2 game with someone, and this fat old guy takes off his shirt, and he's got really heaps of body hair, sweaty, matty, and when they're playing on each other, his nipple goes into Ben Stiller's mouth. And this, I've actually put a screenshot here that I'm going to show Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible pink nipple in his mouth and slops up, and it's all slow-mo. And I've never forgotten that. So this is my number 10 gross out comedy.
All right.
I
can, the image helps sells it.
yeah, it's not good.
Look, it's not film, but can I just jump in here?
Yeah.
That reminds me of an episode of Cheers.
Which one?
Do you remember the episode of Cheers
Oh, yeah,
where
Carla
they're
and
trying to
Cliff?
gross each other out? Like,
Yeah.
what would put you off your beer?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And they're like, how about a bowl full of scabs?
Yeah. I remember seeing they came up with worse and worse shit.
And then Woody comes over. This is the bit I always remember. And he's like, what about when someone comes in from the fields and they're all hot and sweaty after a really long day out there and their chest hair is all matted down. And they're all like, geez, Wood, come on. It's not pleasant, but it's not that bad at all. You're not really in the ballpark here. He goes, you've never seen Grandma.
Yeah.
It's a good
I
gag.
wonder if anyone likes Cheers still. It's just us. I don't know.
I don't know.
Nowadays it's really tame, but fuck, we love
Yeah,
it.
but that was great back in the day.
We adored that shit.
Okay.
Sorry.
My number 9, then moving right along. It's still a film that I don't love a lot, and it might be higher on the list because lots of people love the shit out of this movie.
Yeah.
But this particular scene is worthy of a mention on this list, and so it elevates just into the bottom echelon.
right.
And I'm talking about Dumb and Dumber.
Low!
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't put up any
my-
higher in good conscience because I wanted films I really liked to be high on my list.
Yeah, for me, this probably went up my list because it was high grossness, as well as quite good funny.
Yeah, most people like this film. I know I'm in the minority.
Please go on. What?
I'm
yeah.
talking about the scene, of course, where is it Harry?
Jeff
Daniels gets the laxative from Lloyd because he's pissed off that Harry's getting somewhere with what's her name?
Lauren Holly.
And puts a whole bunch of laxative into his cup of coffee, whatever he's drinking, coffee or whatever. And then later on, that all hits him, and he's desperately trying to find the toilet. Gets into the toilet, sits down, and then of course you can imagine the noises.
Oh, dude!
And the acting, over the top acting.
The genius behind that scene was actually the sound design, because you hear the gurgling and you see, and then there's just a wide shot of his bare ass on the bowl, and he's just hanging on for dear life, and it's just, so. Which, by the way, I fucking lost it at.
Yep.
So obviously,
And then she goes, I hope you're not using the toilet in there.
it's broken.
It's broken.
It's oh shit! And then it goes everywhere. He fucking steps in it, tries to get out. Yeah, this is low. This is very low.
High level patrons will know that I have a special affinity with that particular part of the story.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Moving right along.
You want to hear that. You want to hear that story. Okay.
That's
wow.
why. That's why it's on my 9th on my list. But if you have any other gross out moments, maybe when you get to it, you can talk to them. Talk through them as well.
Pretty much that. But anyway.
All right, it is that one.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. So my number 9, I've got like these 4 movies on which could be my number 9, and I've gone with this one, right?
Oh, okay.
Because it's not really a film in the normal sense.
It's not a film.
It is a film, but it's not like this scripted thing. It's Jackass the movie.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Is that fine?
Yeah, it's still a film.
Okay. Now, Jackass the movie, everyone I'm sure knows about this, but there's a few different ones. I don't know which is grosser. There's this shot of a miniature toilet set. You don't know it's a miniature toilet set. It just looks like a toilet room that they're shooting. And this huge...
Toilet room.
Toilet room, yeah, bathrooms. Toilet room, water closet, if you will. You know, the version of
I got the idea.
And then this huge piece of shit lands on it, and it's bigger than the whole toilet and everything. It's big. It's almost as big as the room. And then they zoom out, and it's one of the characters...
One of the guys.
One of the guys squatting over something and just having dumped a huge load in there, and everyone was laughing. And I'm like, oh my god! Now that's all the foulest shit, right? I know Paul's already like having a problem with this. He's looking at it going, but the best bit about this,
I have a problem that anyone finds that funny.
no, I was shocked. I wasn't actually finding that funny, but that's the thing they did. But one that I did actually find funny is their dare was this guy goes into a hardware store where they've got all these toilets that are just on display and they're in the showroom, and they're like, he has to go in and shit in one of them. That's what I do find funny. He actually walks in having prepared his colon to do a lot. I know.
Probably taking the same amount of laxatives that
Probably
Paul
that
Harry
Jeff Daniels.
did.
Yes, exactly. He actually walks in with a newspaper. And then he drops his pants, and just everyone's looking at him, and he goes, boom, and he just fucking looks around while reading the paper and just drops a few loads in there. Then gets up, and people are walking up to him, and he walks off.
Where's the how does he wipe his ass?
I don't think I can't remember whether he brought TP with him or not. Either way, what the fuck? Who even thinks of that shit? It's so nasty. And the reason reason it's number 9 on my list is it's not really
Yeah, I can see why you put
Do you know
it-
what I mean?
put it
Like
down,
that's
yeah.
just like an asshole doing that. But yeah.
But it was Jackass the movie, so
Yeah.
I just
It's
I don't know. I think I was the wrong age. I think we were just
Look,
a bit too old.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't like any of the Jackass stuff, but then I saw him shitting in the fucking hardware
That
stuff.
sold it for you.
And it didn't sell it, but I'm like, I can't deny that I'm laughing and crying and cringing. So that's my jam.
It's definitely gross out. For
There
sure.
you go.
My number 8 is a bit of a different beast altogether.
Sure.
It is from Peter Jackson. It is a movie about Muppets. Sort of.
Oh,
It's called Meet the Feebles from 1989.
I didn't even think of this one.
This is gross as.
Yeah, it's fucking rank.
Not many people picked it. A couple of people in the listener feedback, which we'll hear later in the show to wrap up the show, picked it. And I think David Powell, you mentioned before, he had it as an honourable mention. These puppets, they get STDs. They have pustules,
No,
which
that
are
was fucking rank.
dripping gore and gross. They get splattered. They secrete. They urinate.
I
There's
was traumatized by this film when I
they shoot pornography.
I know, that's the thing that
It's
got
really.
me.
It's kind of like last year we panned the Happy Time Murders.
Yeah.
Not as badly as some shows.
The reason this one didn't get that same ire is that it was back in the day and it wasn't a mainstream film.
That, and also it didn't make the mistake of having humans cohabitating with
Yes.
Muppets.
Good
This
point.
is a Muppet world, if you will.
Yeah.
Or a puppet world, if
I
that's the
remember-
appropriate way of saying it. And it all ends with a sodomy musical number underscoring a mass shooting.
Really?
So it's pretty full on.
I've forgotten that
And
because
it's
I didn't want to
super
see
gross the whole
you
way
know what?
through.
I actually think I saw scenes from this and went, I can't watch this.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even find it funny. I thought it was offensive.
Arguably, that's why it's down. Well, not arguably. This is why I put it down at number 8 and not high, because I like the film.
Did you?
Because it's so gross and the like, but it's so uncomfortable. But its grossness almost outweighs the humor.
It does. It
So-
wildly did for me. In fact, I didn't even find it funny. But I understand that it's a Lumiere movie. It's one of those art house bad boys. You know what I'm saying? Remember those?
There's an old throwback to an old cinema in
An old
Perth.
cinema in Perth
Yep.
used to just do that shit. Anyway. Okay, nice one. My number 8 is a movie where I simply laughed for 5 minutes on this. And again, it's all toilet humor. It is The Nutty Professor.
Oh.
Yeah, now see this. I wonder about this. Now, Eddie Murphy, he had some...
No.
Suck my dick.
I hate this movie.
How do you hate this movie? It's perfect. Because the Jerry Lewis one, that was The Bomb, which was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Then I see this one. By the way, this is the thing that had a small blip in Eddie Murphy's career. Everything was shit. This came up and made a lot of money, and then went down again. But...
And then he made Nutty Professor 2 the Clumps, which,
it had
basically
Janet
is.
Jackson in it.
You a fucking moron.
That's...
That one wasn't
Because Eddie
definitely-
Murphy basically went, well, how can I make more money? I know, the one fucking thing that's successful. Do more of that.
No, but any studio does that.
Hate
But... really?
Yeah, I hate
You don't like the Ed Murphy?
Nah, basically, once you get past 1992, Eddie Murphy can fucking eat a dick.
No, wait. Oh, he's done Dreamgirls and shit.
Because it was right around that time he said, I don't give a shit as long as I'm making money.
Yeah, I know, but what are you going to do?
Don't say that shit. You can think it. Don't fucking say it.
Did he really say it, though?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Oh, well, The Nutty Professor is the fart scene I'm talking about here. Now, I don't know if anyone hasn't seen this fart scene, but at the time...
You can spoil the shit out of it. It's old.
No, at the time, you just didn't... I had not seen that before. I hadn't seen... Like, Blazing Saddles had a fart scene in it.
Certainly did.
All right? But it wasn't like this. This was actually like some... I don't know. I just didn't expect it at the time. This is like 95. No. 95. Maybe. It was... Yeah, around that time.
Good research.
Yeah. Sorry. But yes, Nutty Professor, I've always dug it. Yeah. How are you going to do?
Fart scene.
Fart scene. Fart scenes are
What's
funny.
so gross about it? There's just farting.
Dude, is a fart scene not a gross out scene? Is it really? Is that what you're saying now?
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit tame for this list.
Yeah, but that's because it was a good comedy. That's why I said.
Okay.
Like, sometimes you think that's how it is. All right.
All right. Well, my number 7 is a film that will absolutely 100% be on your list. So prepare yourselves, listeners, for a very loud low. It's National Lampoon's Van Wilder. Yeah.
What the hell is at the top of your list?
Much better shit than Van Wilder.
Fucking
which
suck
at
on
best
it.
is a middling comedy.
Motherfucker, it's on your list. Don't be telling me
Which
it's
has
shit.
some good gross out moments. And of course, none
Fabulous.
better than when we get back against the bullies of the film. When
Oh, that
take-
is the scene.
the
Please go
scene,
on.
they
Please go on.
take effectively a bunch of Twinkies, take out the cream filling, and then go to their dog.
The dog has huge, massive balls for some reason.
It's a bulldog, isn't it?
It's a
I think,
bulldog,
yeah.
and his balls are fucking bigger than the dog. So they get the dog.
Horny by looking at doggy porn on the wall. And then effectively have it jerk off. Or
No, it fucks. It fucks all the donuts.
It fucks the Twinkies and fills them with its special
Dog jizz.
dog jizz. I was going to say seed, but okay.
Jizz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they feed these things to the bully. Wait, what is he?
What happens is they
Oh.
they put them all in this like platter, and then they leave them at the sorority. Not sorority. The fucking whatever, freshman cup, whatever. Those guys, and they get to the hey, someone left us fucking donuts, and of course, stupidly, yeah, let's eat them. And they all have this scene where, please, they not only bite and go, oh, this is great, but they pour the jizz into their mouth from the broken like fucking donut, and they all saying shit like, hey man, this is really familiar. They're saying shit like that.
It's so warm.
It's so warm, yeah, man. It's right out of the oven, and it's just fucking to go like that.
Yeah, it doubles down hard.
It's and it's so hard. And there's a lot of other fish shit in this movie, but yeah, this is low, buddy. This is low.
I knew it behind the list. And I'm sorry to steal your thunder. And then there's another diarrhea gag and shitting in the
Oh
toilet.
yeah,
as well.
Of course.
So-
No, it's a great movie.
Yeah, again, I didn't like it as much as you. That's why it's sort of down here for me. It's fine. It's fine comedy. It's okay. Overall, I had those very memorable moments.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff. Well, actually, you know what? That's the epitome of that laugh. You're like, oh fuck, I'm looking at this thing. Oh, so good,
Yeah,
good.
kind of like I'm laughing, but are people judging me for laughing?
Absolutely.
That's a gross out comedy
Yeah,
right there.
I mean, I've been doing that my entire life, but yeah. Okay, so my number 7 is none other than Bridesmaids.
yeah. No.
Low, really?
Little bit,
Okay, so Paul Feig, this guy, back to poo gags. Okay,
of course.
back to poo gags.
It always
And
goes back to poo,
It does.
especially on this show.
Do you know what? I gotta tell you, when I'm talking with friends, often we eventually talk about shit, and I'm talking women. I'm talking women too.
And again, to go back to TV, Scrubs said it best. Always comes back to poo.
Really?
Yeah, there's the musical episode. There's a whole song on it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yep.
So we're back to nothing now. Okay, so this is. I hope everyone knows this scene. Basically, it involves food poisoning.
Yeah.
And all of these girls having to shit like racehorses, except Rose Byrne because she's hot.
Well,
So
from memory, Kristen Wiig's character says basically, let's go to this place because they're all going out to do their dress,
Yes.
trying on dresses, the wedding dress and
Yes.
bridesmaids dresses and all the rest of it. And so the bridal party, or at least the female half of it, all head off. And let's get something to eat first. We're all hungry. And Kristen Wiig's like, is it Kirsten Wiig? Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig says, I know this great Mexican place.
Yep.
And Rose Byrne, who's snobby and all stuck up, is like,
I don't really eat this stuff.
don't
so
eat this stuff.
go
You
ahead.
guys go ahead. Everyone else eats it.
Yep.
And then they go off to the dress shop, which is a really high class,
Very
falutin
fancy.
place, and with the very prim and proper attendant,
Yep.
and store person, and they're all decked out in different potential bridal dresses and bridesmaids dresses.
As well as
when
the
it all
wedding
starts to hit them, yes,
Yes, and the wedding dress she's got is the most expensive ass one. It's not even the one she chose. It's just one
yeah.
she's
It's
trying
just,
on.
you just want to try on this big, huge, voluminous sort of skirt train thing. Anyway, it all starts hitting them, and of course, Melissa McCarthy, because
Yes.
she's large, therefore has to be the grossest.
Yes.
And
She shits
someone's
in a
bending over the
sink.
toilet, vomiting, and she needs to shit.
Yeah.
So she jumps on the sink, and she's like, "Oh, it's like hot lava coming out."
I mean, everyone's trying to throw. Actually, Kristen Wiig gets out of it by just sweating a lot and not shitting.
Yeah, because she's trying to prove it wasn't the food, and I ate the food, so I'm fine. It's all right. And
Everyone else
Rosebird's like, well, here, why don't you
she's sweating.
drink this gravy or something? Shit, I can't remember what it was that she's trying to get her to have something that's, and she eats. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
That was gross.
Maya Rudolph in this wedding dress. There's nowhere to go because the other women are taking every possible place. So she goes to run across the street.
That was the thing that nailed it, because what happened was, after all the grossness, you see her running across the street
And it's slowing down.
It's slowing down. It's just happening. It's just happening. And then she sits down and just kind of camps in the middle of the street, and obviously shits like a racehorse. And then all the cars have to go around her and stuff.
She's just waving them past.
She's like, no, just go, I'm shitting.
And then she's like, so that really happened?
And of course, that dress is like this fucking crazy expensive dress that she just shat all over. So, I don't know. That's
pretty good.
For me, when you see, because I hate the whole thing where, I know it's obvious, but when it's like Ocean's 8, it's like, it's the same as that one, only with girls. I'm like, fuck off. Same with it's the same as the girls thing, only with guys. Fuck off too. Right?
But this is a film. Perfect.
This one works.
Yeah,
and
absolutely does work, which is why it's high on my list. I think it's better than a number 7 film.
All right.
For me. I
Fair
liked
enough.
it. I was very
Fair
pleasantly
enough.
surprised by this film. I thought it was very funny.
A lot of different
And that's really the only huge gross out moment in it, but it's such a memorable one.
Yeah, everything else was like the awkward humor, and then the humor, and
The other scene from that film, which never ceases to make me laugh, is when they one-up each other at the
speeches. The speeches that's the awkward. That's why
hilarious.
this movie was good, because it had gross out humor, awkward humor, and fucking conceptual type humor. Very good shit. So yeah.
All right, my number 6 is another strange, not human film. This one involving marionettes. I'm going with
Team America.
Team America. World Police. And I'm resorting to vomit.
Which is the vomit scene?
Specifically when Gary, after he sort of blames himself for all the unnecessary deaths that his squad caused in a particular scene about 2/3 of the way through the film in Cairo, I think it was. He goes to get hammered at a pub, just drink his sorrows away, and that's when the infamous pussies and dicks and assholes speech gets said to him by some other marionette there.
Yeah.
And anyway, he drinks so much and he feels so bad, he vomits there and they kick him out. And so he goes out into the alley and there's that woman up the side. Get out of here, you bum! You've given up on life, ain't you?
I can't remember this part.
And then he's so overcome with emotion and alcohol that he vomits once and the music's swelling. This is the real epitome of sadness. This is so, so sad. And then, of course, because it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker, he vomits again.
Is it like gushing
and again.
up?
And then this huge gush out. Again, while the music swells, and then he collapses, and then it sort of crane shots away, and he's laying in this pile of vomit, which is as big as the alley that he's in. It's
I've forgotten it.
super gross.
I remember about that movie is the sex scene.
Yeah, which is also very gross and graphic, and even worse, which I don't think I've seen the unrated cut, but apparently unrated DVD release was way worse.
How worse?
I don't
Because
know.
they were flipping on top of each other. And
That's pretty gross too.
Maybe it's Roman showers.
That's what I'm saying. This thing is pretty intense, and I think it deserves a spot on this
I
list.
kind of want to see the uncut version now to see what they were going to do.
Sure,
with it.
you do.
Well, I didn't see it already. There you are.
So there we go. That's my 6.
Okay. Well, my number 6 is American Pie. Now, this. Oh, good. I was wondering. See, Paul always overplays this joke because the motherfucker don't know when the motherfucker's done. There it is, still going. All right, American Pie. I thought that you might actually have an issue with this one, that it wasn't gross enough.
No, come on.
Because I was trying to search through it. I'm like, what is the gross thing about this? And I think in my head, the first one I went to.
Should we list it off? Go on.
The first one I went to was that guy coming in the beer and then Stifler drank it.
That's
it, right? That's
gross
the one,
enough.
right?
Well, hang on. He's fucking a pie. That's gross.
No, I do that every day. So
Right. Time to change my action.
Pie fucker!
When I come to Wayne's house, stay away from all food
Hey,
products.
dog, you want some pie? What is it? It's creamy.
Shit break
Shit break.
as well.
Oh, yeah, the shit break. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about
I
shit.
think that's pretty full on.
Totally.
I mean, masturbating, it's gross when you see other people do it, except in the right context.
Just say it, Paul. Girls. When girls do it, it's great. When
But
guys
like,
do it, it's not very good.
He's sitting there jacking off into whatever, and everyone gets a copy of it, and all that stuff happens in this film. It's a gross out comedy for sure.
Yeah, you're right. It is a gross out comedy.
So it's extraordinarily low on your list.
I think this is fine. I mean, like I said, again, I think because of the grossness factor, I don't know, it just fell here on the list. But obviously you have it higher. So good. Okay, good.
All right. Well, that's your 6 by 5. Then is Bridesmaids. That's where it falls from. Yep.
Very nice. Well, shit. My number 5 is Van Wilder.
Okay. All right. So now we're starting to double up a bit.
Yep.
I wonder if you'll have my number 4, because I guarantee you don't have my number 3.
Okay.
My number 4 is the very conveniently and easy to say film, Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan.
Okay, let's talk about Borat, because this is the movie. Look, when there's reality involved, I can't watch it.
Have you never seen this movie?
I've seen it, but I had to see it in shifts because it made me so uncomfortable. Not because of the grossness, right? But because of the fucking, there was real people there and
is
they're
awkward.
reacting, and
It's
I'm like,
so awkward.
So
I think this film is pretty. First time around, I laughed so hard at this movie.
did you? So
Yeah.
you had no problem with it? At
No,
all?
I definitely did. I have that awkward.
Yeah,
reaction.
yeah.
No, the point
Yeah.
the point that is the naked wrestling with his portly companion, because he gets so angry that the portly companion is jerking off over a photo
Or
of
making
Pamela Anderson,
making hand party too.
whom for whatever strange reason he thinks he has a shot with if he
Yep.
can meet her. So in his mind, it's kind of his girlfriend. It is so gross.
I did have problems with it. I
the
must
body
say.
hair, the corpulence of the other fellow.
Oh.
To say nothing of
That's one bit.
yes, to say nothing of the mankini thing that he's wearing.
Are we missing something here?
Go on.
That fat guy
Yeah.
puts his balls on Borat's
Yeah,
face.
yeah. Oh, I'm saying
Right,
the whole
yeah.
wrestling.
They're just balls on his face. And to be honest with you, that was probably was a good. I did laugh that bit, but I hated the whole movie.
Okay.
I couldn't watch it.
All right, whereas
So,
I like it.
I know,
I understand why you like. I can't fault you for disliking that. But again, I think this is pretty gross. Deserves. I reckon it earns its place on my list.
Okay, well, my number 4 is. I'm sure, I'm pretty sure you're going to win this list because
Alright.
this is all my little fucking bullshit, like fucking reasons for liking movies that people don't really like. Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
Not even the first one.
Well, the first one was good, but European Gigolo had more for me. It was a better film. It was a higher budget, better film, better. I don't know. There's a lot of weird jokes like that. But the one where is there a woman with an odd condition where she got a penis for a nose? Every time she sneezes, she comes. And there's a scene in the
This is what
restaurant.
we have descended
This
to.
is what we've got. I'm like, you knew it was coming, right? When you knew, and in a restaurant, she's got like a veil over this cock of a nose, and she's sneezing.
Ballsy.
Yeah.
Stupid, but ballsy.
She's hitting guests, that are dancing in this dance. So it was, that's just one of them. There's lots of little pieces in here, and it's just dumb stuff. But I actually think this is a very good couple of comedies. The first and the second one are both very good. They're good comedies.
Yeah, they're okay. I don't think
No,
they're that
they-
good.
well,
I
we
still don't think they
expected
deserve to
nothing
be
from
so
Rob
high on
Schneider.
this list.
Look, if I sneeze cum in your face and I laugh about it, it's funny, man. It's funny. That's not the whole thing. I think it's a collective.
That's the grossest part?
No. Well, there's many gross parts, but there's more of them per capita, kind of, in terms of the how many there are in the movie. So that's why this is above. I think this is a more consistently gross movie than one big gross scene.
Okay. Arnie wants to ask you something.
Oh, what is on?
Do you want to
Take it back!
or
No,
not?
fuckface. No. There must be some juice fans out there, man. There's got to be some juice
There's
fans.
some juice fans.
Juice fans, yeah. What's up? And also, fart jokes are plenty as well. But this is it's more this shit.
No,
more this
no,
shit.
that's what you want. Okay. Well, look, prepare yourself because Wayne's about to go fucking postal
Okay.
with what my number 3 is.
What is it?
I mentioned Peter Jackson before. Well, he has a better gross-out comedy, which also has some horror elements in it. It's from a little film from 1992 that over here was called Brain Dead, and in America
Oh, fuck
it's
off!
called Dead Alive.
Fuck off. This isn't really a comedy, is it?
It absolutely is a comedy. It's a comedy first. It's a comedy horror, and the horror is, it's pretty easy. It's hard to be scared by this movie.
No.
let's be honest.
That, to me, it was a horror. But
No.
I suppose horror comedy. All right, fair enough.
There's gore played for laughs throughout this entire film.
Do you know what? Yes, please keep
Right.
going. Keep
So
going.
at the end of the film, the gore fest it becomes when Lionel is trying to fight against this horde of undead as the party that his uncle throws at the house. We get a dude get his head cut off horizontally,
Yep.
and it's been kicked around the floor or whatever else. Eventually winds up in a blender, and he gets blended. The top of his head, he gets a garden gnome
That's
smashed.
gore more than gross.
Yeah, but it's all. But the gore is played for grossness,
No, there's
including
definitely- there's gross
including
elements.
when the inside, the intestines
Yes,
and
the
whatever
intestines.
the digestive system of one particular character comes alive and is crawling along trying to strangle people, and it pauses, of course, to fart.
Yeah.
So it's all played for these laughs. Then earlier in the film, though, that's the end.
Are you going to mention this? Keep going.
Early in the film, there's a scene where Lionel's mum is basically she's dying of having been bitten by this rat that turns you into a zombie. And she needs to have the League of Ladies or whatever it is
Yeah.
around and her husband, and they have to entertain and throw a very nice dinner party or lunch party for them. And the husband's like, what about custard? Well, pudding. I can't leave without my pudding. And he's carrying on about it for all this time. Anyway, she looks awful. So much so.
I'm feeling fucking sick because I'm feeling. This is the reason I couldn't do it. This movie made me sick. I actually want to throw up, and I'm not easy like that, man. You can do nasty shit in front of me. I won't stop eating. I don't give a fuck, right? But
this is the
this actually makes me sick, so that's why I couldn't put it on the list. Go on.
She's literally, she cuts herself at one point, and they have to super glue her skin back in together.
This is so gross.
And her face is kind of sagging and whatever else. Anyway,
listen, if you're eating now, just back it up. Stop.
Huge pustule on her arm, I think it is, bursts, and the pus flies across the table and lands in his custard.
And then he fucking eats
and
it.
He's what a good custard.
So fucking gross. And if you've seen this film, you know this scene, and it's played exactly like that. I believe there's even I can't even talk about it.
It does. Has a nice close up of the spoon.
Yeah, because the thing actually blooded as well. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. I'm sick now. I can't fucking talk.
I should have made that number one. I win. Thank you very much.
No, it's just gross. It's not funny.
Yes,
That's
it
why
is funny. It's
not
hilarious.
funny. I hated it. I was in there going, not laughing, just crying. That's the opposite to comedy. That's why this couldn't come on here.
Suck my butt?
I'm so sorry if anyone's listening while they're eating.
You are a bitch. Oh, yeah, I should have said bitch, please. That will do.
This is so disgusting.
Oh, it's thoroughly. It's
too
a comedy.
far. It's too far. Damn it.
Thoroughly
It
deserves to be
couldn't
on
get
this
there.
list.
It's too far.
It's okay to have on your list. Cum in there.
Cum fine. Everyone's
Twinkie
fine.
that you
Some
eat.
people choose to eat cum. No one chooses to eat pus, motherfucker. This is disgusting.
That's my number 3. Back to you for yours.
I don't know if I can continue.
Bullshit.
All right, fine.
Continue, you shall.
All right, my number 3 was Dumb and Dumber, so we can just go jump right back to your ass.
Okay, well, I've
By the way, just really quickly.
Yeah.
One of the best gags in Dumb and Dumber
please.
is not actually gross. It's this is conceptually funny. Okay, Jim Carrey's in the limo, and he puts down the fucking back screen, whatever, and he's like talks to some girl who's at a bus stop and says, "Where are you from?" She goes, "Austria." He's like, "Ooh, Austria. Well, good day, mate." And then he fucking comes back in. That made me laugh. Hey, Paul, let me ask you something. Do you know what it's like to do a fucking radio show? Because you have to react to shit, motherfucker.
So I am reacting.
No, you aren't reacting. You have to do it audio style.
Oh, sorry.
The reason you win is because I support you better. I support you better. I pretend that you're funny when you're not. Okay? That's what's going on here. You're actually trading off my goodwill. If I say silent when you say one of your dumbass bullshit calls.
214 shows.
214.
Somewhere around about an extra few, not that many, I don't know, 25 feature reviews. That's the funniest joke you made in that whole time.
Bitch, please. As it wasn't even a joke. But I can see how you might think it is.
First, take a big step back and literally
This is what it is. It's my kindness is what gives you your wings.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling you.
My deadpan reaction to that is everything you needed to know.
Fucking, you can suck a dick. That shit is gold. So suck a dick.
All right, let's get on to number 2s. I have warred back and forth all day. In fact, I still haven't settled on it, but I'm going to put it here because you've already mentioned it. I'm going to put it as my number 2, American Pie.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Low from before.
Radio. Okay. My number 2 is Austin Powers, Gold Member.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Didn't even see anyone mention this.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not.
He drank shit.
Was that Gold Member?
Yes, it was Gold
okay.
Member. You see, what happened was, for anyone who inexplicably hasn't seen this film, Austin Powers, he's in a lab, this is Mike Myers, and he fills his coffee cup from a spout, which is, of course, next to a similar spout, which contains another character's bubbling stool sample. Fat bastard's stool sample.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Of course, he accidentally fills the cup with hot molten shit, and sniffs the cup saying, "This coffee tastes like shit." Oh, sorry, smells like shit. And then Basil goes, "It is shit, Austin." And they go, "Oh." And then you think that's the end of the gag. But he goes, "Oh, great, I thought it was just me." And then he goes on to drink it, and no one says anything. And then when he pulls it down again, he's got a shit mustache. And he's like, "It's a bit nutty."
That's right, I do remember that.
But the fact that they gave you the moment for him drinking it really made me laugh, frankly. See,
No one chooses to eat shit waiting to come back to your earlier arguments.
some people do. I've seen some videos.
2 girls, 1 cup excluded.
Yeah. Hey, here's a little note for everyone. When we were coming up with ideas for the name of this show, one of the things on the table was 2 guys, 1 mic.
Back when we had 1 mic.
Yeah, I know. I think we made the right choice.
Probably. Probably referring to movies if you're going to do a movie show.
I know,
in
right?
the title is a
And
good
they're like,
idea.
What the fuck? Is it a porno first? Yeah.
All right, well, let's go back through it then and recap our list, starting with me. Giving our number ones. My number 10, Knocked Up. Number 9, Dumb and Dumber is where I had it. 8, Meet the Feebles. 7, National Lampoon's Van Wilder. 6, Team America, World Police. 5, Bridesmaids. 4, Borat, that'll do. Number 3, Brain Dead, one of the best choices I've ever made on the show ever.
Fucking disgusting.
Number 2, American
Wrong.
Pie. And my number 1, and I has to be your number 1, surely as well. We're going to come in together because otherwise I cannot believe you've missed this.
No,
off
it
your list.
has to be. Wait a
There's
minute.
something about Mary.
Of course.
Yeah, thank God.
Of course.
Thought that was going to be the biggest argument in the history of the world,
No,
or the
no,
show
not at
at
all.
least. Yeah, there's something about Mary. For 2 scenes. There's the more famous one, really, which is, of course, Mary reaching over to his ear, where he's jerked off because the other guy's name has convinced him to jerk off before he goes on a date with her, so he won't embarrass himself and try and da-da-da-da. And there's this huge strand of cum hanging from
His ear because he doesn't know where he shot his wad
Yes.
to, which is
And she goes, "Oh, is that hair gel?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." And she reaches over, goes, "Cool," because I didn't get it. Grabs a huge amount and
Grabs the whole
wipes
thing
it
off.
through her hair.
Yep.
Which of course leads to just that one strand sticking straight up.
which
from
made
her.
the poster. That is the poster of the
Yes.
movie. Jizz hair is the poster of the movie. That's why this movie was so fucking good.
Brilliant comedy, perfect level of gross outness and still humor.
This is of course my number 1.
And then, arguably, I think the scene which goes beyond that, which doesn't get as much love. Frankenbeans.
Oh, Frankenbeans is fucking. Frankenbeans was probably. You're right.
Couldn't make the poster.
Couldn't make a poster. But the thing is, again, like the other one, they give you the shot of his nuts fucking
Yes.
squashed up in the zipper,
Oh.
and it's like, oh fuck, that was the best. This has more gross out, not more gross out, but a sufficient amount of gross out bits in it. But the movie itself was
Yeah,
excellent.
movie's excellent. One of the best comedies ever made.
When you told me about this, because you'd seen it with your girlfriend at the time, and you said, "Hey, yeah, something about Mary." Couple of flat bits, but there's some fucking funny bits in it. And that was the first gross out comedy I had heard of. So that's why this is like almost the granddaddy of them, kind of, for me. I'm sure there's others you could point to, but
Well, you go way back to Animal House, which is films I've seen.
so Animal House is 70s.
Yes.
To me, it's more 70s
78.
movies than it is a gross out comedy. So yeah. And it's not the same anyway, because Animal House has like these oddly, like, people get beat up in it, shit bits in it and stuff. It was weird. It was
Yeah,
weird.
okay. It still has a very
Yeah.
big gross out moment. And
Yeah,
anyway, the
yeah.
point is, something about Mary. I'm glad that we agree on that part at least. Super film, very funny, some great gross out moments. And that, yeah, like you said, when he gets his junk caught in that zipper, oh my God, it's every man in the world when they watch that movie is wincing and pulling their gut and laughing. And then they show it, you're like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is hard for me to think about even now.
This is nothing. Compared to yeah, anyway.
For me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, see, I don't even get that. All right, fine.
That's my list. What about, give us your recap then, because
Okay.
we've got the same number 1.
10's Along Came Polly. 9 is Jackass, the movie. 8, Nutty Professor. 7, Bridesmaids. 6, American Pie. 5, Van Wilder, Party Liaison. 4 is Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. 3, Dumb and Dumber. And 2, Austin Powers, Goldmember. And my number 1, of course, is There's Something About Mary.
All right, Wayne, very briefly, did you have any honorable mentions?
Did I ever? Zack and Miri made a porno. It has a scene where this girl shits all over some guy who's trying to film the porn from
Isn't that the
underneath.
dude from
Clerks?
Clerks?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff
Like,
Anderson.
she frosted me like a fucking cake.
Yep.
And then Get Him to the Greek is one of my favorites.
fuck
I
that
probably
movie.
could have put that at number 8. I don't know. Me, Myself, and Irene would have made the list if there were more gross bits in it. Friday, Harold and Kumar, Not Another Teen Movie.
What, the shit comp in Harold and Kumar?
Yeah, the shit Battle Shits.
Yeah,
It was called. Yeah, you?
I only had one. American Pie 2 and Stifler when he gets the urine shower.
The urine shower. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I found this list really, and even that was scraping the bottom of the barrel to make this list. So, yeah, you had way more choices. Most of those films I don't particularly like.
No, this is the thing. I actually think you've got this because listeners like it when it's not your wheelhouse. And you had a pretty good list for a guy who doesn't like gross. Except that fucking brain
Brain
dead
Dead, perfect.
shit. Fuck that shit.
That one's gold.
Shit.
All right, that's our list. The top 10 gross out comedies. What about your list in a segment that we feature on every show to wrap things up? It's called the Pop 10. Talk about Pop 10. Talk about Pop 10. Kicking off this week's Pop 10 with Split P1 on Twitter. Number 3, There's Something About Mary, Frankenbeans. Number 2, Good Luck Chuck, Sex with Eleanor. Don't remember that part.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Hey everyone, we used to call Paul Good Luck Chuck. You decide why we used to do that.
I decide.
No, we decide. Oh, fuck it, I'll tell you.
Go on.
For some reason, every time Paul went out with a girl, right, Then he broke up with her ass.
Or she broke up with me.
Or she broke up with.
Yep.
Then she go get married.
Yep.
Straight up. It happened like a bunch of times in a row.
It was something like 5 or 6 times in a row.
5 or 6 times in a row.
Yep.
So,
So I would just like to, thanks from all those other men, that I managed to make things doable for you.
just they may be cursing you now.
Number 1, Van Wilder, Dog Pastries, just you.
That's right, son.
What Were They Thinking podcast had The Something About Mary, American Pie, and I have a soft spot for Saving Silverman. I don't know why.
I do too. That's good stuff.
Rob and Slim podcast, Rob from that show said Tim and Eric's $1 Million Movie. Never seen it. He reckons
I've
it's
heard-
particularly gross.
Really, I've heard of it.
So it might be something for you to check out there. Mackenzie Lambert, long time listener to the show, had Uwe Boll's Postal, you read that correctly. Dead Alive at number 2, Eat a Dick Wayne.
Damn.
And number 1, Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, the bit where the guy eats himself till he explodes.
Yeah, that first bit is gross.
IMDb Journey podcast, mentioned Daniel at the top of the show. He's number 3, American Pie, The Beer, The Pie, Shitbreak, to name a few. Number 2, Van Wilder, Dog Jizz, enough said.
Big,
and
right?
number 1, prepare yourself, Wayne.
What?
Freddy Got Fingered.
No.
If you can call it a comedy, certainly gross out.
Well, you can't.
Wayne hates that movie.
I hate it.
In a long lost episode, I believe you ranked it the worst film going experience you ever had.
Of all time.
Colby Mack had my pick is I Love You Man, the vomit scene.
The vomit scene. I love you, man. I love that show. Oh,
Where Paul Rudd,
yes.
they're all staying around the bachelor parties. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love that movie.
The Contrarians, Julio, patron to the show, good friend, had this is the list where Wayne should have brought up Hall Pass.
No, here's the thing. I want a whole pass to be in here, but it's not a good enough comedy
No,
other
the
than that
film's not
scene.
great.
So,
Agreed.
yeah.
And similar one, he said Jeff Anderson gets his cake frosted in Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Finally, your mother could love Scary Movie, the glory hole scene.
Ooh.
The interview, the interception scene, and movie 43, the whole damn thing.
No, I never saw that
I've never
movie
seen it either.
because someone told me.
Nick Revick Film Guys defended that film, said it actually is legitimately funny. He says no one got the joke.
It's
he
because it wasn't
reckons.
made by the guy who did the ShamWow thing.
Pfft.
Yeah, for real. So,
Okay. Sam from Movie Reviews and 20 Qs podcast. Number 3, Scary Movie again. 2, Borat. And number 1, Team America for
very
Sam.
nice. That jizz scene in Scary Movie.
That
That was really classy. I didn't expect it to get
I don't think I've
stuck
ever
to the
seen Scary
ceiling.
Movie. I said that to Sam, and he did elaborate on the scene.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Billy from We Watch the Thing, great friend, big supporter of the show, and they has a great podcast. Do check them out. Now, he said, I don't personally find these movies that gross, but that's probably just me. But if you're talking about what's the best, for me, you can't beat 3 American Pie, 2 Bridesmaids, and number 1, There's Something About Mary.
There it is. Good list.
The Cinema Guys, Dumb and Dumber, Meet the Feebles, and Scary Movie again nominated. Duty from Shaken Not Nerd, another great show. Please do check out Duty and the Boys. Grimsby, not a good movie, but he said, but the animal sex scene was gross.
Okay.
But the fan in the hospital bed broke me, he said.
I saw the trailer for that movie and I said, this looks like the worst piece
Yes.
of shit ever. Mark Strong, right? And
Yeah,
what's his name?
and
Sacha Baron Cohen. Yeah.
Baron Cohen. Yep.
So, okay.
Team America, Gary and the Alley Spewing, and There's Something About Mary. Again, the beans above the Frank.
How did you manage to get the zip all the way up?
I don't know. Coach Remiglio, Paso Robles HS Foot, then that's all that has time. But at Roland _ Remiglio,
Damn.
had number 3, Kingpin, Roy Toy paying the rent.
I haven't seen Kingpin.
You haven't seen Kingpin?
Is it the shit?
You should see that movie.
Really?
Well, it's a Family Brothers comedy
Oh, I did not know.
with Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I thought he looked old and weird, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
No, like I didn't know if it was interesting enough.
Fart in your general direction.
Number 2, American Wedding, Steve Miller eats the truffles. Quote, I think it's shit.
Ah, yeah.
And number 1, Borat, the wrestling scene. Tim Cormack, Kingpin, Sex with the Landlady, The Meaning of Life, Fat Guy eating the restaurant till he explodes, and Run Fat Boy Run, popping the blister on Simon Pegg's foot,
I
pus
saw that movie.
all over Dylan Moran's face.
I forgot that scene, but yeah. Okay, all right.
Over to our Facebook listener community for the last... Oh, and Gidget Von LaRue. She had Dead Alive.
Yeah, look, I get it. I get some
Pus
people
from
thinking
mother into guest porridge, and he eats it. And yes,
Come on,
Dead
man.
Alive is
Come
a
on.
comedy horror. Thank you for that, Gidget.
Come on.
We mentioned David Power so much, we should give him his due. He said 3 Bridesmaids, the gastro scene at the dress shop. 2, There's Something About Mary, the hair gel scene. And Van Wilder, dog pastry.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
all on.
David, another good friend and supporter of the show. Luke Alexander had Superbad, dancing scene, period jeans.
Superbad, great fucking movie. Period Jeans wasn't quite gross enough
Okay,
to get
I don't
me,
believe
but
it,
it was
Brett.
close.
Something About Mary, the police interrogation. I don't remember that scene. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure I can.
And Get Him to the Greek, Jeffrey scene.
Get Him to the Greek is amazing, and I probably should have put it on my list.
Brianna Petty had American Pie 2, Stifler Gets Peed On, Kingpin Landlady sex scene again at number 2, and Austin Powers. She said Spy Who Shagged Me poop coffee, so she must have got that one.
Maybe.
Or did you get it wrong?
I'm sure Fat Bastard was in Goldmember, but I'm sorry.
He's in both of them almost.
Oh,
sure.
okay. Then maybe I mixed it up. Sorry.
Either way. All right. Well, that would have clarified people screaming at their
Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
podcatcher, if that's the case. Last couple to wrap it up. From the Boobies and Newbies podcast, there's Something About Mary, American Pie, and a film that I thought would have been on your list, Waiting.
That's not a good enough comedy. There are definitely some good bits in it, though.
Okay. Yeah. And Profess Hers podcast said, I forgot about Waiting. I laughed so loud I embarrassed my boyfriend at the time.
What?
That was someone else agreeing with the choice of Waiting.
Oh, cool.
And lastly, from Stephen Kroom, Dumb and Dumber. The laxative diarrhea scene gets me every time. There's Something About Mary. How'd you get the beans above the Frank? Which seems to be, again, I think we have number 1 for a
I
reason.
think we've got him. Yeah, absolutely.
And number 1, not another teen movie. I love this underrated gem featuring Captain America himself. Grossest scene has to be the diarrhea scene when the boys are in the air duct spying.
Oh, nice.
There we go. That is your feedback on this week's topic. Thanks to everybody who gets back to us, and we apologise to those people we can't get to in time for this Pop 10. What a show.
What a show.
Shit.
What a nasty ass, 12
Diarrhea.
cheating, stank ass, damn show.
Urine, vomit, and pus was the order of today. I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
As difficult
I don't know. It was kind of I'm sorry if anyone was eating. I'm just sorry.
Come with a warning. Maybe put that in the show notes.
Maybe, yeah,
not that anyone reads
if
the
you're
show
gonna
notes.
eat, just don't do this shit.
Okay. That's it for episode 214 of the podcast. If you do have any feedback you want to leave for the show, or indeed weigh in week and week out with the topics, Wayne, where can people do that?
They can search for us on just Google. Just Google the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews, or hit us up on email at thecountdownpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also get back to our topics every Friday morning, put them up on Twitter at the Countdown PC, or join our Facebook Listener community. Link is in the show notes, where a bunch of great people interact with us and talk movies and TV all week long.
Obsess.
Yeah, obsessed. That's probably a nice way of putting it. Okay, next week, Wayne, then, for episode 215, what are we doing?
We're doing the top 10 Aussie films, cunt.
Yeah! G'day, everyone. We'll be doing celebrating the best from our own country. Now, if you're a long-term listener, of which there are about 6 of you, going back to episode 5 from memory, or if you're a patron of the show and you've had access to this, which has been re-put up there.
Yeah.
So actually that means there's more like 40. We are revisiting this topic because we did it now.
Did we do it already?
4 years ago.
I don't fucking remember.
There's a shock. So we're going to be revisiting it with all the films that have come out since then as well. And maybe both of us developing our movie palettes in the meantime as well.
Good, because I have zero idea what I put on the list, so this is coming at me completely fucking fresh.
So don't go back and look at it. Just make it fresh. It'd be interesting to compare the two.
Yes.
And if I can really be asked, maybe I'll go back and have them there to compare as you go.
Yeah, I never even wrote notes at that stage. I don't even know what the fuck we were... Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
That is next week's show, episode 215, the top 10 Aussie films. So I will be celebrating that, and get on board if you're at all interested in Aussie cinema, or indeed just to see what we value.
Totes.
Yeah. All right. That is it for today's episode of The Countdown. Thank you so much for joining us and all your support of the show. My name is Paul.
My name is Wayne.
And this has been The Soundboard.
Eat my ass! Eat all
been enough,
the
Wayne.
asses, man. Fair enough.
It's very appropriate, right?
Yeah, on this show. Woo. Damn.
Or maybe
All of your arguments are like my asshole, man.
also fairly appropriate. We will catch you next week.
I say a lot of shit.
You do. Is this news to you? See you all.
Yeah.
What